Welcome to the Vida Rosa. I'm your host Pinky, and today we're going to be talking about The Ultimatum Season 2, Episodes 4 and 5. So if you'd like to see more, then just stay tuned. But before we begin, I would like for everyone to check out my website, lavidarosastyle.com, where you can find cute accessories like the ones I'm wearing right here. Like, comment, and subscribe. And without further ado, let's get into this video. I just want to preface this video by saying, just in case you missed my other reviews, I do not think any of these people should be together. I think if you come on a show like this, it's already over. It should be done. Don't beg nobody to marry you, okay? With that being said, the whole situation is toxic, and they even said on the first episode, giving an ultimatum to your partner is toxic, and that's scientifically proven, okay? They've already chosen a new partner, they're paired off, and they're living together, and we're just watching the train wreck. Okay, let's go ahead and get started with Roxanne and Alex. Roxanne, beautiful woman, but all I can look at are her lips and her eyebrows. So far so good with them. They're both working from home. The crazy part about Alex is he's steady trying to push marriage on Roxanne, which is really weird because his girlfriend Kat was the one who gave him the ultimatum. So why are you constantly trying to prove to Roxanne that marriage is a good thing and you should believe in marriage? Like, why are you stringing this other woman along when clearly you want to get married, just not to her? They went on a visit to meet his parents, and his parents are both entrepreneurs. They work together, and she's still on this tip of, oh, I don't believe in marriage even though my parents been married for 30 years and they're entrepreneurs too. And it's like she has the perfect example already. I don't know why people keep trying to convince her. I wish I had the trademark on that phrase, because I would be coinked up right now. Because it's like she wants somebody to convince her, girl, if you don't believe in it, you don't believe in it. Good grief. Anyways, by the end of this meeting, Alex is really making it seem like Kat does not challenge him in any way, and that Roxanne will be a much better match for him. He seems to have a bit more respect for her than he does Kat, and the parents can clearly see that. And then he met her parents, and honestly, it was the same exact conversation. I don't want to get married. This woman challenges me. But she did bring up the fact that she likes chivalry of a man pulling out chairs and opening doors, and her ex didn't do that, and Alex isn't doing it either. Is that something that men are not doing these days? Is that like a millennial thing? I do like the fact that her parents held her accountable and said, look, you can't just expect all of this from your partner and you don't get anything in return. You need to be a helpmate as well. When all the women met up with each other and Roxanne was having a conversation with Kat, it's funny because anytime Antonio is brought up, Kat does say really shady things about him. Like, Kat brought up the fact that he likes to look up conspiracy theories on YouTube, and basically Roxanne says she always shuts him down with that, and she thinks it's so stupid to believe in theories. You know, Kat was like, well, I think it's cute that, you know, he's so invested and interested in this. And yeah, conspiracy theories can be really stupid, but when you love and care about somebody and they're interested in something, their passion behind it kind of makes you want to know a little bit more, or at least listen when they're telling you about something. So I don't know, it did come off like she doesn't respect the man. She did tell Kat that they're both open to hooking up with each other, even though they didn't. She basically said if she gave him the opportunity, he would jump on it, and I thought that was kind of harsh. But Kat is like a punching bag. She's gonna take all the hits and not gonna. Kat constantly looks like she's on the verge of tears or an anxiety attack or something. She's just very timid, and so anybody with any sort of dominant personality is going to steamroll Kat, and I hate to see it. It's kind of cringe to watch. And I'm glad she told Kat to stand her ground with Alex or leave, because you're getting walked all over. So I'm going to go ahead and move on to Antonio and Kat since I'm speaking on them. He did plan a picnic on a ranch for her, and he's showing his romantic side. He did say that he's not financially stable, so he can't really go all out for Roxanne on a regular basis. But Roxanne has said multiple times it doesn't have to be something fancy. She said she wouldn't mind like a pizza in a sunset, but you're not doing that either. Like, you can't not be financially stable, let her be the breadwinner, and then you're not showing any sort of ambition towards doing better. And then on top of that, you're not romantic, you're not catering to her in certain ways. You're not opening door, like, but yet you think she is going to want to marry you. You're not showing any sort of improvement. You're not giving her any sort of motivation to move forward. And he also said he began to resent Roxanne for being the breadwinner, so he walks on eggshells. Then he went on to say he was high for 6 years straight, trying to escape the emptiness. I'm sorry, but from his own mouth, it's giving dusty. It sounds like Roxanne is putting up with a lot. And once again, it doesn't feel like she necessarily respects him. Maybe she's just super comfortable with him after being with him for so long. I don't know. I don't understand her incentive of being with him. And then we have Kat, who is just absorbing everything that he's giving, but not really adding much to the conversation, nodding in agreement. He did point out in one of the confessionals that Kat just doesn't seem like she knows who she is, and that's what I get. When he was talking to the other men, he said he's an open book with Kat, but he feels like she's been really closed off and locked up emotionally, and he's been more so hesitant physically. What I do find interesting is that this season nobody really crossed the line of physicality, and we're gonna get to Raya and James, right? Because they had a big confrontation about that, if you will. But I also think that the people that would have possibly given more temptation, they left the process. Alex thinks it's weird that Antonio is not sleeping in the bed with her or hugging her. Once again, do you even care about Kat? Why are you pushing this man on her? Antonio admits to be very selfish and not measuring up to what Roxanne needs. Later on in the episode, Roxanne said Antonio be lying about going to work, and she's caught him taking a nap instead. Later, when Antonio and Alex are having a one-on-one conversation, Alex tells him that Roxanne says mean things about him behind his back and says that he's a whipping boy and she just does not respect you at all. Antonio felt like that was fishy, and he kept questioning, like, well, what were her exact words, or, you know, did she really say that? Once again, he's being very evasive and was giving his interpretation, his summary of what he thought Roxanne meant by the things that she would say about Antonio. Antonio just did not want to accept that she was possibly being disrespectful to him behind his back, and he accused Alex of lying. And he was just like, you know, men try to take Roxanne from me all the time. They constantly slide in my DMs and trying to take her from me and tell me things about her. And, you know, it's crazy to me because usually the roles are reversed. We usually hear women in defense of their man like this. So it was kind of funny to see a man's perspective, like, doing the same thing. Roxanne might not have said verbatim that she doesn't respect him or that he's her whipping boy, but that's exactly how she talks about him behind his back, and that's exactly how she treats him. And I wonder how Antonio is going to feel once he sees all the things that she has said behind his back and the tone in which she says it. And you know what I'm saying? Like, because I was definitely thinking what Alex said. She clearly don't respect this man the way she talk about him. But do I think that Alex was trying to take Roxanne away from Antonio? For sure. Because he keeps pushing Kat on him and saying, yeah, you could have Kat, because he's trying to get Roxanne. And Roxanne is putting a bait out there like, yeah, I would much rather, I'm actually considering marriage when it comes to you. With him, absolutely not. I see where both of them are coming from. I say that. So let's move on to Ryan and Trey. Honestly, there's not much to say about them other than in another life, in a different world, had they just randomly met, I feel like they would have made the perfect couple. They have so much chemistry. Their personalities go together so well. Both of them are just very thoughtful, and that's what they have in common versus their partners. That's why they're giving their partners the ultimatum, because they go above and beyond, but they don't get that in return. But for both of them to find someone who is willing to do that, it's like a perfect match. But I think both of them have so much baggage with their partners. If they did want to be in a relationship, I don't think it would ever work. I just don't think that they could be together. He ended up doing a really nice gesture for her and getting her car cleaned. And it's crazy to me because Raya makes it seem like he never does anything nice, but no, this might not be like a grand romantic gesture. I'm guessing his love language might be like acts of service. And maybe Raya just likes to receive lavish gifts. You know what I'm saying? I feel like Raya might be taking advantage or not appreciating the little things that this man does, because he is taking care of you, and then he does things like getting your car washed and things like that. I'm just like, he seems thoughtful. She made it seem like he's not at all. He says he always puts others' needs above his own, and he's not used to having someone to take the time to actually get to know him. And he said with Ryan, he finally feels valued. Ryan pretty much feels the same way. She says she's very passive and feels like she's bothering people when she speaks up for herself. With this process, is kind of helping her to find her voice, because once again, she met James when they were 16, and so a lot of her identity was formed around him, and so now I feel like she's developing her own and finding her own voice. And even when they met with her brother and his girlfriend, they said that they completely see a difference in her. They see more confidence in her. They see that she's more outgoing. His girlfriend, first of all, his girlfriend was doing all the talking. Her boyfriend is her brother. I'm like, you got more to say than he do. They were just saying like, this man has been with you for 7 years. It's an insult that he hasn't proposed to you yet. It's an insult that y'all are not married yet. I know James was turning red when he saw that. I'm not gonna lie though, they barely even acknowledged Trey. I don't think that they wanted her to be with Trey in the long run, and I'm hoping it's not because of his skin color, child. Speaking of James, let's get to Raya and James. I feel like in the beginning, James was at least trying. I don't know that James was ever truly like attracted to Raya. Not saying Raya is not a pretty girl. Maybe Raya is not his usual type. I would have liked to have seen James matched up with someone who he was actually attracted to, and vice versa with Raya. I would have liked to have seen her with Brian, because I feel like the outcome would have been totally different and it would have made for more of a challenge. Whereas these two, there wasn't much of a spark to begin with, so it's easy for it to crumble. She told him that, you know, she's been wanting a date night, and he set up a romantic hot tub date with roses. And he did say, you know, he was attracted to her. She was in her bikini and she was very impressed. While they were there, he said that he for sure wants kids, and I just found it very odd that she wasn't honest with him that she doesn't want kids at all. Like, she wasn't forthcoming about that. In the beginning, they were having a good time getting to know each other, playing little games, and seems like he was putting in effort. And then at some point, he completely shut all the way down, because he ain't worried about this. He worried about his girl getting took. He worried about his ego is completely bruised, because he realized it's a chance that he could lose Ryan. Raya brings up the conversation about wanting affection. This is a trial marriage, and you know, she wants to at least hold his hand and hug and things like that. He's like, there's a time and place for all that. And at first I'm like, well, do you just not want to do it on camera? Like, what do you mean there's a time and place? And you know, he said, you know, plan this date. I've been cleaning up. I've been cooking, trying to show you in other ways. And it sounds like his love language might be acts of service and hers might be physical touch, or maybe he's overdoing the acts of service because he doesn't want to do the physical touch. But he made it clear that basically he just did not want to cross that line, even if it's just hugging. She said, well, I feel cheated out of this experience because this is supposed to be a trial marriage. I'm not getting the full effect because you're not in it. His mindset is, I love Ryan. I want to be with her. You don't really love Trey. So I'm not about to jeopardize my relationship in any way, whether that's hugging or holding hands, because I'm trying to get back to this other woman. And he also mentioned that he had cheated before. And he was about to break down like what the cheating did to their relationship, and she completely cut him off. She wasn't trying to hear it. And honestly, once again, I could see both sides. I could see why she's like, look, holding my hand and hugging me, that is not going to cross the line. I'm pretty sure Ryan is over there doing the same thing. I could see why he doesn't want to do too much, because he's cheated in the past. Sounds like he almost lost her at one point, and he sees that he's on the verge of possibly losing her again. And so he doesn't want to push it, and I'm not mad at him about that. So then we get to the part where all the men meet up and they're talking with each other. He was hurt to hear that his ex was being more open with Trey than she's been with him. It's because he hasn't been all the way open with her. They've been together for 7 years, and there's still some things that he hasn't shared with her and been open to her about. I feel like he got a little bit messy when he was trying to tell Trey that Ryan was open to hooking up with him because she wants the full experience. And Trey was like, well, she called me on FaceTime crying, thinking that you thought that she wanted to sleep with you. And I don't know, do y'all think Raya was just trying to do damage control? At first I was like, well, she just want to hug and hold hands, ain't nothing wrong with that. But why did he get that impression from her? I don't know. I would love to know what was going on behind the scenes that we didn't see, because he was very, very persistent that he did not want to do any sort of physical touch with her. So I wonder, did she like make a pass at him? Like, I don't know, because he put his foot down on that, and then for her to run back and tell Trey that, it seems like she was trying to get ahead of it. So y'all let me know what y'all think about that. But James did tell Trey that Raya clearly is not ready for marriage. She doesn't communicate well. Secretly, James just thinks that she doesn't truly love him. She didn't say that to him in the moment, but that's what he said in his confessional. And then when they did their little one-on-one, Trey asked James, like, why haven't you married Ryan yet? And he said he wants to get like this job that makes a lot of money. And he also said that she wasn't his first love. Also, they haven't discussed traumas, and he's not emotionally available. And at that point, I'm like, well, what are you hiding that is so deep that you cannot tell this person that you've been with for 7 years? Like, is she not making a safe space, or are you just that closed off? Also, I didn't forget what he said about not necessarily believing that you have one true love in life. And I feel like that's a really big red flag, especially when you're with someone who wants to marry you. At the very end, Trey revealed that he has caught feelings for Ryan. I hated the way they edited that scene, because it felt like it was out of order or something like that. But I felt like that was a little bit of a bombshell. Not surprised though, because like I said, they really have chemistry. I wonder if Ryan feels the same way. Anyway, that's it for this review, you guys. Let me know what y'all think down below. Do you agree with me? Do you not agree with me? I love to hear your opinion, and I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in my next one. Peace.